Before I get started with this commentary, let me just say I am going to try my best to get through what I have to say and this article without vomiting because this shit absolutely makes me sick. When I when this was retweeted onto my timeline yesterday for me to critique, I said I knew I was going to talk about it, but I'm glad I had time in between to really gather my thoughts as to what I was going to say. And I'm surprised that some of the people that I usually do, I'm always in conversing with, haven't spoken on this before I did. But this is absolutely some of the worst display of coonism I've seen in quite some time. So apparently 45 met with these urban, quote unquote, pastors. What was it, yesterday or the day before yesterday? It was very recent. To discuss whatever. It was a prison reform event. And of course, you already know who was there. Darrell Scott, aka Brian Pumpaloid Banks. Because he looks like a combination of both of them. But it was a statement that he made that made me just want to, I can't say it on here, but y'all know what I'm implying. He actually said out of his goddamn mouth that, and I'm going to quote him, he said, "This is probably going to be the most pro-black president I've seen in my lifetime." That is what a black man said about 45. He has gone way off the rails with that entire statement. He said Donald Trump is probably going to be the most pro-black president he's ever seen in his lifetime. I don't know if he does this shit for just the money, because we know he's getting paid under the table. It's probably crumbs. Or if he's doing this for shock value. At this point, nothing he says or does shocks me, because so that doesn't even begin to tap into my psyche. But the fact that he uttered those words, that literally made me want to just take off my own goddamn head and just die right there. I said, let me just go down to NASA and have them send my ass to the damn moon and let me live there. Let me just get into this article right quick. And by the way, if y'all don't know who that woman is right there sitting next to Trump, the one that's all giddy and everything, that's that cooned out niece of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I did a video about her a few months ago about some coon shit she did. And she's cooning again. It says President Trump focused on efforts to reform the prison system Wednesday, meeting with faith leaders and lawmakers at the White House. Now, this goes back to something that Mr. Superboy has talked about. 45 is going to meet with the coons and stuff. He would never meet with someone like us. Because we would tell them, first off, we probably even wouldn't want to meet with him. This was nothing more than a goddamn fan club meeting. That's all it was. Just a bunch of 45 supporters sitting there having one big circle jerk, talking about absolutely nothing. They were talking about some prison reform. Remember, Darrell Scott is the same guy that said that he went and spoke with gang leaders of Chicago. And them gang leaders had to come out and give a statement saying, we didn't meet with this guy. He straight up lied and claimed that he met with the so-called gang leaders of Chicago. I knew that was some bullshit before the gang leaders even came out and said that he was lying. You can just look at him and tell he's a liar. Lie is written all over the face. He looks like that goddamn dog named Droopy. You know that cartoon from back in the day? That's exactly who he looks like. In a roundtable discussion with nearly 20 inner city pastors and faith leaders, Trump touted a low unemployment rate. He stays saying that, but I'm telling you, if you look at them numbers, it's not really as low as he would claim that they are. Notice they never really give out those numbers, like raw data numbers. And booming economy that he said would make it easier for former prisoners to reintegrate into society. Yeah, right. We had passed the first step through the House, and we are working to pass that into law, and I think we'll be able to do it. When we say hire American, we mean all Americans. The president told a group that included Trump supporters Paul White Kane, Alveda King, that's her name, I forgot her name, and Pastor Darrell Scott, along with celebrity pastor John Gray. White House Chief of Staff General John Kelly and son-in-law and senior advisor Jared Kushner were also present. The House passed the bipartisan prison reform bill in May. Following Wednesday's event, Trump met with a group of lawmakers to discuss the issue. The group, which met behind closed doors, included GOP prison and sentencing reform advocates such as Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley, Senator Mike Lee, and Senator Tim Scott. The largely pro-Trump group present at the public event praised the president for his efforts on criminal justice reform and the economy. This is probably the most proactive administration regarding urban America and the faith-based community in my lifetime, said Scott, a Trump surrogate, during the 2000 campaign. Darrell Scott is the type of person that you wish that... What is that Willie D always said that mama should have swallowed or daddy should have pulled out? That's the perfect phrase to use to describe him. This president actually wants to prove something to our community, our faith-based community, and our ethnic community. The last president didn't feel like he had to. He got a pass, he added, referring to President Obama. See, this is another person who doesn't even know how to be on code. Sure, you may not like or may have a disdain towards Obama, but the fact that he says like that stuff like that in mixed company shows how off code this bastard is. And then, you know what's so funny? If you go to Darrell Scott's Twitter account, he finds himself getting bucked with people in the comment section who call him a coon and whatnot. I said, don't get mad because they're telling the truth about who you are. Now, I actually wrote to him yesterday in a tweet, and I have yet to get a response, asking him, has he paid his rent yet? Now, he responded to everybody else who called him a coon and everything like that. But when I asked him about that rent payment that has been long overdue, crickets. I have not gotten a response yet. And I wrote that yesterday. I doubt he even responds. Trump, who has said improving life in urban areas is a priority, boasted that he has done far more for inner cities than anyone else. Of course, he's going to say that. He boasts about everything. He also says that he's the smartest person in the world and that he has a damn good diet. But, you know, they laid out what he eats, and I would highly doubt that that would be considered a formidable diet. As a candidate in 2016, he drew controversy for comparing safety in the nation's urban areas unfavorably to that in Afghanistan. In May, Trump held a prison reform summit meeting with activists and former inmates. Weeks later, he met with reality star Kim Kardashian West, who lobbied him to pardon Alice Marie Johnson, a 63-year-old grandmother who was serving a life sentence for drug charges. After Trump pardoned Johnson, he asked NFL players for recommendations on others who should be given clemency. Now he gonna ask these players for that after he just called them sons of bitches. Trump has since promised more pardons, saying the administration was looking at thousands of cases where he believed people had been treated unfairly or received too harsh of a sentence. Listen, black people, do not fall for the banana in the tailpipe. I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to butter you up. This is all for him to get votes in for the next election, when 2020 rolls around. And he's campaigning right now. That's what he's doing. He's campaigning right now. To be honest, that's all he's been doing for the most part in his entire presidency so far. I mean, how many presidents do you know constantly have all these goddamn rallies? It seems like he has a rally every other week. However, his administration's efforts on the issue spearheaded by Kushner have focused more on support for programs providing rehabilitation and job training for inmates rather than sentencing reform. Gray told NBC News that after the meeting that the discussion was a first step. I can't speak for everyone in the room. I came in with my mouth closed and my ears open out of respect because, as we know, there has been a lot of great pain and turmoil in the first part of this administration from many different sides. So my job was not to come in with my own mindset and issue that was not a partisan issue, but a human issue. I cannot stand Darrell Scott with a passion. He's like on that level of coondom of coons that I hate. Now, there are some that I just diss up just utterly dislike, but I hate this guy. I really do. I have a feeling he was just born to be disingenuous. I wonder if he's even a real pastor. He probably bought that title. And what's so crazy is his church is in Ohio, which is the hub for heroin. Not once has he ever spoken up or on the topic of those opioids. Not once. But he wants to talk about how there's black on black crime and how we have to, do prison reform, and how Donald Trump is the most pro-black president he's ever seen, and how Obama wasn't shit. I can't stand his goofy looking ass. Or any of them for that matter that went to that so-called damn meeting. Now y'all see why the black church has been tainted for so goddamn long. And I wonder how many people who went to these pastors' churches are still going to go on Sunday and give them their money. If you are a goddamn fool. Many of you have been fools for years, but if you continue to go after this, you are a bigger fool than I give you credit for. That's why I say the only times I ever go to church is for weddings and funerals. That's it. The last few times I've gone have been just for that. I cannot remember the last time I went to a church for an actual service. Got to sit up there in that hot, smelly, sweaty ass church and listen to them just talk a bunch of bullshit the whole goddamn time, and then they turn around and do this shit. They don't even do goddamn thing for their community. They driving around in nice cars and living in nice houses. Meanwhile, the church that they are in probably got a leaky roof. The damn pipe's about to burst. The air conditioning unit don't work. And the community that's right across the street from it looks like shit. But their home, which is not even anywhere near the goddamn church, looks all nice and pristine. It looks like a damn castle. And then they got the nerve to have an ATM in the church. That's one thing that many churchgoers don't ask us. Where is the money going? That's one thing black people have a habit of not doing. Asking where is the money going? That's why a lot of black people don't vote. Because it's going into the hands and greasing their dirty, filthy palms like Darrell Scott. The reason why he probably can't pay his damn rent is because he's putting the money where it doesn't need to be. He's putting it in too many liabilities and not into assets, most likely. I highly doubt that he's invested any of the money that he's received back into his neighborhood or gone down there and actually help other black folks with their issues. Oh no, all he can do is go to Trump and tell him how bad everything is, like a goddamn parrot. I swear I can't stand this motherfucker at all. The reason why I use this picture is because his black ass wasn't in it. Because I can't stand to look at his face. I'm going to end the video right here. Y'all let me know what you think down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. The links to my PayPal and Patreon are down below. I'll talk to you in the next one.